Hey guys, what's up? Gonna do a not logged in game, and I'm extremely tired today. But I think this is actually really interesting. It's a fascinating situation or case study to say, okay, well, when you know you're not really on your game, when you know you're not seeing everything, what can you do? Well, one of the things that you can do is to lean back on the principles and stuff that you know. Okay, so this is the Wayward Queen attack, and we play it like Vienna style. Bring out the Queen's Knight to defend this pawn. That is the real target of the attack. They might bring their bishop out here. Okay, and again, you've got to be very careful. You can't just develop this knight because you get checkmated. So there are two standard approaches. G6 works, and Queen F6 works. An alternative is to bring your knight here. I think either of these are fine. Excuse me. So yeah, I had a long day yesterday. Went to a friend's live event in Manchester, so that was an hour and a half each way driving. It's not too bad. And I stood and sold a load of books. And so I know I'm not on top form. So what you can do to compensate for that is to take extra care. To compensate for the fact that you don't necessarily see everything straight away and you don't process as quickly or as deeply as you normally would. Okay, so we've pushed G6 here. Queen has to move and she can't go on any of these squares. Okay, back she goes. And now I think knight d4 kind of breaks opening principles. But it's kind of forcing, we're centralizing a knight and it comes with tempo. This is the point. I'm not losing a turn with this because now the queen has to move again. So I was thinking probably fianchetto. Also, the queen's the only defender of this. Now, if I play knight f6, I'm going to be attacking that. Might even fianchetto both bishops, we shall see. So in general, if your rating really matters and you want to protect it, then playing when very tired or for whatever reason you're under the influence or you're not on your game. Okay, I'm going to stick my bishop here. Reason is I want to protect this pawn. It's currently unprotected, and now it's okay. Okay, we have knight tension. If I take, probably queen takes. Then my opponent's got two pieces out on the board, bishop and queen. I have only this bishop, but this is okay. I'm closer to, well, not really closer to castling because they can castle. And the alternative is, do I allow them to capture? So I could, for example, play c5. I think c5 actually looks pretty good here. So say, okay then, do your worst. If you want to take, I'm going to take, and then I got a real good grip on the center. You always have options. Nearly always have options when you're under attack. Sometimes you don't. Queen has to defend this pawn. So we remind ourselves of the facts, right? I'm attacking c2, which still comes with a fork. Okay, c2 has now moved to c3. So what's changed? It means the pawn's no longer defending the queen, so the queen's undefended, but that's not an issue, I'm not attacking her. And this square is also been undefended once by that pawn, but it's still defended by the a pawn, so. This is an idea. b5, counter-attacking their bishop. So if bishop takes pawn, it is actually defended by the knight. So b5, they take me, I take them, queen's under attack, they take my pawn. So I've gained nothing with that. Okay, so what do I want to do? Do I want to leave my knight in the board? It's probably generally a good idea. This pawn is defended. Because if I trade off, opponent recaptures, we are no better off. But if I leave my knight in the board, I've got two pieces developed, they've got three as well. So the question is, who benefits? Cui bono? If I take this knight. Is that queen going to be in a better position on f3 than where she is now? I don't know. Also, this bishop's going to have a bit of a job getting out into the board, isn't it? Is there anywhere my knight would like to go from that square? Well, I immediately look at f4. And the only reason I saw f4 is because I asked myself the question. But if I come around here, bishop takes, pawn takes. Yeah, you can give up the bishop pair. Give up the bishop pair if you want. And if queen takes queen, king takes. Not so much of an issue when the queens are off the board. The opponent hasn't really made a mistake yet, anything we can call a mistake. But coming around here again with tempo, again hitting the queen. This is the big downside of the Wayward Queen attack. Now, it's not an awful opening, it's a bad opening for that reason. But Magnus has played the Wayward Queen attack. Don't know if it was in serious competition, but I do know he's played it. I'd like to push d6. Nice thing about d6 is that then this pawn is defended there, and if the bishop takes the knight, in fact, if bishop takes knight, I can even recapture with f. I don't have to face the option of a trade of queens. This is still defended. There we go. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to swing my knight in there. No reason why not. I also might, at some point, if this square becomes available, think about checkmating attack, but I've just moved my knight closer to my opponent's king, which can't be a bad thing. Now the queen could come here, in which case we still have options. I could just drop my bishop back, defending this pawn with an X-ray defense. Posted a short about that today. X-ray defense, you can sometimes defend a piece through its attacker. There we go. And here I don't see any problem with this. Oh, hang on. Now I do. The bishop's the only defender of this pawn. So, what's the issue here? Right, not worried about this. I'm just concerned about c5, so let's push b6. And we're fine. I can even put my queen here if I want as well. If we trade off, then that's free development for me, and I'm getting ready to castle. Notice the bishop might need to defend this square. Dark squared bishop is still entombed. Okay, it's woken up maybe. Alright, opponent's doing okay here. If I take towards the centre, they take towards the centre. I take towards the centre. Knight here's the thought. Am I worried about this? I am a bit, actually. He's got 3 attackers on here. So I'm going to take... No, he's going to replace it. We're going to have a similar situation. What the hell? Okay, well, I'm going to recapture. Queen and the bishop aren't lined up, so I'm not worried about checkmate attacks. And that was a bit of an odd one. Okay, yeah, so he's just unleashed his dark squared bishop. And then on the very next turn, he's got rid of it. Okay, let's have a think now. Okay, material is equal. Centre of the board has opened up. I would like to get castled. I think knight f6 makes sense because there's a free pawn there, but what if the pawn just moves forward? I can come here to the square where the pawn's on right now. Hitting the queen might be okay. Another idea is to put my queen here, try and trade the queens off, but then she could go there. So I'm thinking this looks okay. That's a possibility. I just block with my queen, I guess. The opponent's doing quite well here, I think. This is the thing, when you go chess dogging, you don't know what you're going to get. Chess dog. I think bishop b7 makes some sense. Also lines it up, everything up against the king. I can't actually legally castle at this point in time. I could actually drop this... What? Who's that shouting at me? Stop it. What's wrong? Everyone's always shouting at me. Yeah. Where are you? Can't even see you. Okay, he's having to think. Alright, well, this pawn still hangs. And it comes with an attack on the queen. This pawn also hangs. Now, what the hell are you doing, Dan? Sorry, guys. What are you doing? Stop it. Bane of my bloody life, these kittens. Okay, well here we could have queen takes pawn. So the queen will be on there. Then I guess I'll just do that. And this pawn is... I mean, I could even push it, then knight takes, actually. There, queen takes pawn, I get to castle. No, I don't, because the queen's attacking my knight. So I have to put my queen there first. But I think that's okay. Oh, hang on. Huh. So he can pin it and then attack it with the pawn as well. That's that's what happens when you're not playing your best. So I hope these games, even the ones where I don't play particularly well, I hope they're still useful for some of you guys. Okay, there you go. So now I think I need to do this, because I couldn't actually capture the queen because my knight was pinned. I'd have put myself in check. But now, queen takes, king takes. He's still got that. Okay, well that's all right. That was a tactical error, I think, on my opponent's part. But my king is still very vulnerable. And I'm not worried about this move. If either knight comes back to here, I do get worried. And I need to give it some thought. So... okay, it's created an escape square for the king by the look of things. Do I trade off here? I'm +3. I think I just trade. I think I just trade everything off. If queen takes, I'm going to trade queens. If pawn takes, you've given yourself an isolated pawn. I do need to be concerned about this idea, but not right now because it's an undefended square. So bishop b7, I've actually got myself a checkmate threat here now. So I do think we're playing somebody around the 1,000 mark, because they've missed some relatively, what to me would be relatively straightforward tactics. Yeah, that idea of just pinning and winning the knight. Which I walked straight into. And I didn't castle. Interesting to know why didn't I castle, and that is, I think, the end of the game. Okay. Well, GG to my opponent. What we're going to do now, I'm going to grab the PGN and we're going to have a quick look. But before we... oh, he wants another one. No. But before we do that, it's good to do your own analysis as well. Now, I know this is a correct way to start. G6 is okay. Okay, we're equal. So I've got the eval showing. And here again, yeah, so I make a kind of an unnecessary pawn move, moving the c-pawn. The c-pawn is not instrumental in allowing this bishop out into the board. And then he kicks my knight anyway, and I'm forced to retreat all the same. So I've kind of wasted this pawn move already in the opening, I would say. So that's one move that I didn't get closer to castling with knight g6 or knight f6 or knight e7. There, and again I'm playing tactics. Queen now comes into my space, which would not be possible if I hadn't pushed that c-pawn. If I could... They say sometimes in the Leningrad Dutch you want to play the move f5 to f7. You want to retreat your pawn. That's what I want. This pawn is now a liability. So I was trying to be clever there. And this is not great for me. It's saying white is totally winning. White is totally winning. And I've lost a pawn. And I still haven't castled because I've allowed this queen to get me in a pin, you know? And this is, again, isn't great. So he sees the first part. What he missed was the follow-up with the pawn attack. And he'd have been fine. So here, if he takes, he knows I'll take back with the king. So the knight will still be pinned. This is the point. And then he can do that. So I think that's what he needed to do. Right? Oops. Sorry, let's go back to that point. Right? He captures, though. And loses the exchange. He's still in a winning position. But then after this move, black is better. So no, he didn't have that. What did he have then? He's in a really good position. Maybe even something like this. We'll see in a minute. Okay, but this is bad. I grab the knight. Oops, because he's down in material. This is the point now. He's a piece down. And then here, and this is absolutely fine, but that's just a blunder and loses the game. So. Let's log in. I've copied the PG in, haven't I? It just goes to show, never give up hope. Go to analysis board. Okay, and review. We'll see how we did. Very poor from me, but yeah. So I was black, of course, wasn't I? And then, so yeah, up to this point. And that's a missed win. And there was a fork on. What was the fork? Oh, queen and rook, damn. Yeah. Just really, really sloppy play. But, oh, and I played 10.50, opponent played 8.50. Ouch. But there you go. You know, this is what happens. He played a good, strong game. I'd like to go back to the start and see what the machine thinks of this, of that c-pawn push. So, best move. Best move, g6. Best move again. Right, I'm doing great. I've got a slight edge, in fact. That's inaccurate, and that's a mistake. But I've lost my advantage. Okay, so what should I have done here? Just develop the other knight. What's wrong with you? What? You're tiny. Go and eat some food. There's some food, look. Okay, just developing the other knight, putting some pressure on this pawn. Says this move didn't really put any pressure on anything, you know. It wasn't necessary. And also, just because you've pushed one of your knight's pawns, it doesn't mean you have to stick a bishop behind it. Stick a bishop behind it if it's the best thing to do. If it isn't, don't. So that was just sloppy. Okay, and yeah, inaccurate. There's a much better... Come here then. Come on. You're a titsy little girl, you are. Okay, so just retreating the knight, okay? Sometimes backwards is the best direction. This was poor, because now he kicks my knight. I retreat. And again, I'm dicking about with my knight instead of developing and being principled, which is what I said I was going to do at the start of the game, didn't I? You heard me say that. And in she comes. And that queen is a bone in the throat for a while. Okay. So I should have defended a pawn. He could have just taken here, did he? He didn't. Oh, he played d4. Okay. So here, best move was queen to there, defending this pawn. and trying to get rid of this extremely aggressive lady. So yeah, just poor play. And that's a missed win. Just pulling the queen back. Oops. Targeting this, yeah. I mean, I could have defended it, but you know, white is just a load better here. And again, another mistake from me. Ignores a better way to, so it's going to say that knight e7 was the way to go, right? And the thing about that is it allows me to castle. Silly. These are the things, these are the small differences, but that's what chess is about. It's about the cumulative impact of small choices. And when you're playing well, you just make better moves. I see this. I see times when I'm really not on form, and I make my opponents look really good. And then when I'm on form, they seem to make the most ridiculous errors, don't they? They do indeed. So that again was a poor move from white. Wow, should have come in threatening the fork. Yeah, and you know, this pawn move, it said it was an inaccuracy, but the cumulative impact, the compounding of a series of questionable moves, that's what makes the difference. And to be honest, guys, I was just lucky. And that's a mistake. Loses a bishop. How does it lose a bishop? There. King takes. Queen d5 check. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was horrible. That's a nice sacrifice idea, though. And yeah, just super lucky here. That was a miss. Well, I mean, just a blunder, really. I don't know why they call it a miss, because I'm still worse. What? Stop it. Best move here. Okay, hitting the queen. Interesting. And also preparing to do this and cutting off the king's escape, maybe? Okay, and this is a good move. And we're actually equal now. Just about. And they blunder mate. There you go. So, you know, can't take any credit for that. But look, here's the point, right? I didn't play well. But I looked at the game and realised why I didn't play well. So I've learned something. That's all you can do. Yeah, there'll be days when you just don't, when you're not at your best. You can't be at your best all the time, can you? You're not at your best at the minute. You're very annoying. You can go down on the floor then. Okay. So yeah, hope that was useful, guys. Hope you appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you later.